And we're back for another episode of Does This Perform Well Over a Base Coat? And you know what I just realized? My dumb ass has been tagging this the wrong way. I left the U out. Yeah. So all the previous 10 polishes have the wrong hashtags. Joy. At least I got Dollar Tree right. Unless I left out an L. Oh man. So this one is kind of like a gunmetal kind of a color, I think. I did the silver the other day and it performed fairly well. I think the silver was a little bit finickier than... So like, I don't know. These guys are kind of hit or miss, or a strange in-between kind of a thing. So they're like, so far there have been, out of the 12, I still have one more to swatch after this. 3 have been absolutely phenomenal. Work great over a base coat. 1 was not as horrendous as the one that I found in August from a different batch that Kozmic Colors released. But it was the worst of them, and that was the orange one. And then there were the ones that were in between, where you could make them, they weren't terrible, but they weren't great. And they had slight variations among them. Some were a little bit better, closer to being great, like these, but not exactly, because they would do like a ripple thing. Others were like just very prone to like that weird ripple thing, or picking up the base coat and like redistributing it, because it, I don't know, it just did like a really weird thing. And hopefully I portrayed that well on camera. Of course, there were a couple of videos where I had little mishaps where I ended up smudging my nail polish. And I was like, don't worry, I'll add a third coat, fix it off camera, type of deal. You know what I mean? Oh gosh, I probably am saying you know what I mean way too much. And I think I messed this one up here. Let's add a little bit on top because it picked it up. Looks like this one does pick up. So like these dry really quick, I noticed. And if you don't work quickly and you go in and want to do like another coat, it likes to pick up the polish you've already distributed, which is kind of a bummer. But I don't know, I guess you can. They got a learning curve, but the problem with them is they're all different learning curves. I mean, you can't really complain for $1.25, you know? But I also don't want complete crap for $1.25 either. Oh my gosh, am I being whiny? Did I say like either? Oh my goodness, I'm embarrassing myself. Alright, so this one I think may be one of those in-between ones, because it looks like it's kind of rippling. I don't know. We'll see how coat 2 goes on. Oh, and that's another thing. Some of these are 2 coaters, some of them are 1 coaters, and some are 3. So, yeah, they are interesting. But they're pretty darn good, I'd say, as far as pigment is concerned. Even the 3 coaters are not horrible. I've got OPIs that require 6. A few of the iridescent ones from the Cosmic Colors line required 6 coats. But again, these guys are formulated to dry so stinking quick that it doesn't really matter that they require 6 coats. I'm still able to get the manicure done in half an hour. Because, like, with a typical nail polish, it takes me about 10 minutes between coats. And the more coats, the longer that time in between becomes, right? Not with these. These dry, like, by the time I'm down to my pinky, the thumb is dry. And I'm doing this 2 coats back to back. That's saying something about the dry time. Because normally I only do 1 coat, wait a couple minutes until it's dry to the touch, do another coat, wait a couple minutes till it's dried to the touch. I never do back to back. Back to back results in like that weird jiggly mess underneath where it's dry on top but it's jiggly on the bottom, and it takes forever to dry at that point. Dang it, I flooded my cuticle. Alright, but no biggie, I can fix that. So yeah, I kind of messed this one up. That one was kind of, see, like, this one is where it kind of, like, picked up the polish and got wonky. And, yeah, it does do, this one also does the rippling, but it's nowhere near as bad as the other ones. So the thing is the rippling tends to resolve itself. So what I think causes the rippling is because these guys are technically don't really work well over base coats. I think what they does is it rehydrates the base coat underneath, but it dries faster than the base coat underneath, so it ends up rippling like that. But once both layers, both this polish and the base coat dry, that kind of resolves itself. It does sometimes leave behind like a weird mark. But here's another trick that I kind of figured out by doing my nails with these guys, is I'll wait for this to dry completely. So I'll give this like half an hour. And if it has a little bit of that weird rippling, I'll take a piece of paper towel with nail polish remover. I will lightly take a little bit off until it's even and you can't really see the ripple. What that does is it will remove a lot of the color and it will flatten it, right? And then I go in and I add another coat over it, and that fixes it. I do that also when I get air bubbles in nail polish, is I don't want to remove it completely, and I want it to be removed evenly until the bubble exposes like the air, like the little pops type of thing. And then I do a coat over it. It fills in the bubble and it looks nice and flat type of thing. Doesn't always work, but sometimes it works. That's kind of another little finicky trick that I do with like the wonky polishes from time to time. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and I have to end up repainting my entire hand. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt too. Anyway, I'm going to clean up my cuticles off camera, possibly try to fix up the rippling on these two and the thumb, and then I'll be back for the official swatch, and then we only have one more and we can go back to doing the iridescence. Yay! Alright, see you guys later. Okay, bye.